Do you want to become a content creator? This is someone who inspires and informs an audience about a specific topic or subject. Maybe you already are an aspiring content creator, or you're currently a content creator, but you want to level up your knowledge when it comes to how to be able to produce quality content while balancing work, family, and your faith. Well, on today's podcast episode, I'm going to share 3 tips that I share to my clients when it comes to content creation. This is going to help you produce big when it comes to your content creation, but do it in a way that helps you create work-life balance. All right, let's jump in. Hello, welcome to the All Small Productivity Podcast, where we help content creators and busy professionals to be able to produce quality content while balancing work, family, and your faith. My name is Amber Davis, and I am a content creator myself and also a consultant for content creators and small business owners. And I am so glad that you're joining with me today. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for liking and subscribing. And if you're following on audio version, you can leave a comment by texting in the show notes, and we can share that in future episodes. I'm usually joined here in my office studio by the fabulous Logan Rodman, who's my social media guru. But today I'm doing a quick teaching on 3 tips that I actually share with my content creator clients, how to be able to streamline their content in a way that helps them package it and get it out to their audience and do it in a balanced way. So we're going to jump right into it today. And one of the things that I wanted to share, I've got my whiteboard here because I wanted to jot down a couple of things for you. When it comes to creating content and to become a content creator, if you are starting from scratch and you've never been a content creator before, and you're trying to create content, that these 3 tips are going to help you launch into it. And these are the same tips steps that I give to new content creators to be able to help them create content and get it out to everybody. So the first step is to clarify. If you are listening on the audio version, I'm writing on a whiteboard and I've just written the word clarify. And you want to clarify 3 things. You want to clarify who, what, and why. So the who part is, who is your audience? You've got to clarify who your audience is. Who are you trying to connect with out there? And then you want to be able to clarify what exactly are you going to share? What's your topic of interest? Like, for instance, on this podcast, I share about productivity tips for content creators and busy professionals, and how to be able to do that with work-life balance, specifically for faith. So my who is Christian, faith-based content creator or small business owners. And my what is I'm sharing productivity tips specifically on being able to produce in their business and do it in a way that helps them with work-life balance. My why, my passion, is to be able to do that so that everybody that I come in contact with, I make their life easier and I help them fulfill the plans that God has on the inside of them. So hopefully by learning a little bit about what I do, you can answer those clarifying questions. But I help my clients do this in a way through coaching, through consulting, but clarifying who your audience is, what you are going to share, and why it's important to you is so very, very important. The second is to create. If you're a content creator, you have to create. And the first thing that you want to create is actually, you want to get content out to everybody. But if you reverse that and you think from the end to the beginning, think way from the end from that very beginning point, from that end point, you're thinking, okay, why am I sharing this content? What's the whole point in sharing the content? And usually the point of sharing that content is to get your audience back to a specific product or service that you can provide to them. So before you start producing content, you want to think through what product or service are you going to have? Kind of, it's like the gold at the end of the rainbow, right? That rainbow is that content that you have out there. The gold at the end of the rainbow is the product or service that you have that you're leading them to. So you want to think about a product or service that they have. And you want to think about this in two folds. So I'm going to draw a line here, and you think about like an imaginary line. And that imaginary line is like separates two different thought processes, two different parts of your model of how you're going to create content. So you have the inside and you have the outside. So from the inside is that product that you are going to create that only the customers or the people closest to you are going to find out about. So that's what you want to determine first. What is the big product or service that you're going to provide? The outside is what you're going to put out to the world that is a free teaching, free product, free something, service that you can give to them that is connected or tied or a reflection of that inside product or service that you create. So a lot of people will call these freebies. There's also other terms like lead magnet, and that's what that term's going to be. So when you create, the very first thing you want to do before you start creating podcasts or written blogs or videos on YouTube is you want to think through what's your inside product for your customer or service. What's the outside free product that you'll give to the masses to be able to give them a taste or a sample of what they can get inside that package? So you think about like if you go to Costco and you go around and walk around and you get to sample the items, and then you can decide, okay, you want to buy the bigger meal. That's kind of what that is, that outside and inside. And then the third thing before creating or to become a content creator is you have to connect. So connecting is that third phase. And this is where you determine, how are you going to connect with your audience through what kind of platforms? So let me give you an example of this. Really, it comes down to three. Written kind of information written content that you can share, video content that you can share, or audio recording. So most of the time it's in a written blog form, an audio podcast form, or a video tutorial video, YouTube video, or a YouTube podcast. So pick one of the three. You don't have to do everything, but just pick one of the three that you're going to use to reach out. And then, of course, in order for you to be able to connect with your audience, you've got to be able to share that blog, that video, or that audio podcast out to social media and let your people know that you're out there. Then within that podcast, within that blog, within that video on YouTube, you share about that freebie thing that you created that people can go get. And then if they get that freebie, then if you can be able to share through email, you can share what that inside product is. So that's what's called a sales funnel without getting too technical. Let me give you an example of this. So to become a content creator, let me just review: clarify, create, and connect. And as an example, you can go to amberndavis.com and get my free teaching, totally no strings attached. That's important. When you're creating that outside freebie product, freebie service, there's no strings attached to it. It's completely free. If nobody ever buys from me or from you, that's okay. For them, that's fine. But there's going to be a section of people that will then want more with you, maybe consultation, maybe another product, maybe another service. But if you go to amberndavis.com, you can get my free teaching guide, checklist with a video, and scripture list on the best way to plan your week. It helps you sync up your calendars, your to-do list, everything up in a 30 to 45 minute meeting. Every week, I teach you to have this 30 to 45 minute meeting with yourself I call Review Preview. It's all done for you, guide, checklist, quick little video on how to do it, and you can be able to sync up your calendar, your to-do list, and be more productive in your week. So that's also an example of one of those things that I created, so you can see that example as well. So thank you for joining me today on the All Small Productivity Podcast. And remember to go all small for big productivity. We'll see you next time. All Small Productivity Podcast is brought to you by myself, Amber N. Davis, using the podcasting platform Buzzsprout, which I highly recommend. Recording and editing is done by my husband's company, DADCHAVIS Productions. Thank you so much for joining us today. And remember to go all small for big productivity. We'll see you next week.